It was a quiet Saturday afternoon when General Maya Caldwell, a highly decorated black woman and the first in her family to achieve a 4-star military rank, was driving through the small town of Greenfield, Georgia. She had just spoken at a youth leadership conference in Atlanta and was on her way to visit her mother, who had recently been diagnosed with early-stage dementia. Maya wasn't in uniform, but she carried herself with unmistakable grace, her posture straight, her shoulders square, her eyes sharp with the discipline of someone who had faced wars, commanded troops, and advised presidents. She was wearing casual clothes, jeans, a light jacket, and aviator sunglasses. She stopped at a local gas station for a quick snack and water, unaware that a racial storm was brewing just steps behind her. A white clerk inside noticed her looking at protein bars and, with a suspicious glare, picked up the phone and whispered into it, falsely reporting that a black woman in her 40s was acting suspicious and might be on drugs or armed. That single prejudiced call set off a chain of events that would change lives. Just 10 minutes later, as Maya pulled out of the gas station parking lot, 2 Greenfield PD patrol cars screeched in front of her Lexus SUV, sirens wailing and lights blaring. Confused, she rolled down her window calmly, already knowing the playbook. This wasn't her first encounter with racial profiling, even as a general. But what happened next stunned her. Officers immediately pointed guns at her, shouting at her to get out of the car now. She slowly opened the door, hands visible, calmly repeating, "I am unarmed. I am a United States military officer. This is a mistake." But they didn't care. Her calmness seemed to agitate them more. Officer Derek Langston, a known hardliner, with a record of excessive force complaints, grabbed her roughly, twisting her arm behind her back. "Don't move or I'll put you on the ground," he barked. Maya didn't resist. "You're making a terrible mistake," she repeated, trying to defuse. Within seconds, she was handcuffed on the side of the road, surrounded by a crowd of curious onlookers recording the scene with their phones. Langston smirked. "You look like a drug mule. Fancy car, but your plates ain't local." Maya didn't flinch. Instead, she said calmly, "Sergeant Major Caldwell, U.S. Army. Serial number 47329. Call the Pentagon hotline. You're detaining a sitting general." The officers exchanged glances but laughed it off, thinking it was a bluff. "Pentagon? Huh, what you gonna do, call it a drone strike?" one mocked. Still in cuffs, Maya glanced at the smartwatch strapped to her wrist. With a subtle tap and voice command, she activated her emergency beacon when only accessible to senior defense officials. Instantly, her signal was received at a secure military base. Within 90 seconds, her private aide, Colonel Davis, was alerted. Within 5 minutes, the call reached the Pentagon Command Center. And within 10, a direct call was placed to the governor of Georgia. Meanwhile, Maya remained on the roadside, humiliated, the cuffs cutting into her wrists. She tried again. "Check my ID in the glove compartment, top right corner. Military clearance. You'll find it next to my presidential medal and NATO credentials." But Officer Langston refused. "We'll do this our way. You people think you can fake anything these days." His partner, Officer Gina Pike, looked slightly uneasy, but said nothing. Then came the first shock. A black SUV sped toward the scene, screeching to a stop. Out jumped Colonel Davis in full uniform, flanked by military police. "Stand down," he shouted, flashing his badge. "You are detaining a U.S. general. Remove those cuffs immediately." The officers froze. Langston stuttered. "She said she was military, but we didn't believe. Did you even check her ID?" Davis snapped. "Do you realize what you've done?" Pike stepped back, pale. Langston's arrogance cracked, but he still tried to hold ground. "We had a call she looked suspicious." "Suspicious? For buying the protein bar?" Davis was livid. "This is a violation of civil rights, military law, and constitutional ethics. And you filmed it? Good. evidence for the tribunal. Maya was freed, but she didn't say a word. She simply took off her sunglasses, revealing piercing eyes filled with restraint and resolve. The crowd clapped as she stood up straight, brushing dust off her jacket. Her phone began ringing. It was the Secretary of Defense himself. She answered, nodded once, and said clearly, "Yes, I'd like formal charges brought forward. We can't allow this to continue." What followed was national outrage. The video went viral within hours. Black four-star general wrongfully handcuffed by racist cops. Media trucks flooded Greenfield. Protesters marched in front of the police department. Within 48 hours, Officer Langston and Pike were suspended. By the end of the week, Langston was fired, federally investigated, and sued personally. But that wasn't all. Maya didn't stop there. She appeared on national news, calm and dignified, saying, "This isn't about me. It's about every black man and woman who's been silenced, detained, or killed because of racial bias in policing. I'm just lucky I had a direct line to power, but what about those who don't?" Her words triggered a Senate hearing on racial bias in law enforcement, where she gave a powerful testimony that led to the passing of the Caldwell Military Protections Act, ensuring military ID must be checked immediately during police interactions. Meanwhile, Greenfield's police chief was forced to resign, and the city was placed under federal oversight. A year later, Maya Caldwell was promoted to head of a national initiative to train local police in racial sensitivity, constitutional law, and military interaction protocols. Ironically, Officer Pike, who had since apologized publicly, applied to work under the initiative and was accepted. She shared her story openly, admitting, "I stood silent while injustice happened. Never again." Maya forgave her, saying, "Accountability isn't about destroying people. It's about teaching them so they don't repeat history." As for Officer Langston, his story didn't end with a simple firing. He tried to sue for wrongful termination but lost in court. His social media rants turned into evidence against him. He became a symbol of what unchecked power and bias can lead to. And Maya, she stood even taller. A proud black woman who proved that quiet dignity, unwavering discipline, and the right call at the right time could dismantle centuries of prejudice with the force of a single truth. You never know who you're handcuffing. And sometimes, it's the woman who commands the entire military. In the end, justice wasn't just served, it was commanded. If you believe stories like this need to reach more people, subscribe now, because silence protects no one, but truth empowers everyone.